Aloha everyone, how are you doing today? This is Marissa Indigo coming with a brand new video. Welcome to my channel. I am the founder of Divine DNA Blueprint Mastery School, and I am here to share all of my favorite topics which have helped me on my awakening journey over the last 15 years and more. So today I am so excited to present this topic to you all and open this up for discussion. It is the concept of time. So I want to start by saying welcome to Time Ship Earth. This is a phrase that you will hear in the cosmic Maya literature and wonderful different communities working with time as discovered and enhanced by the cosmic Maya. So I'm going to be sharing my screen and I want to share a few resources with you guys, um, which is just such phenomenal stuff to start to delve into is the lawoftime.org. And we're going to look at that website today. I subscribe to their newsletter and have been reading so much of their work over the years. And the founder of lawoftime.org is actually an amazing doctor. And we're going to read a little bit about him. He was responsible for actually starting the harmonic convergence, which was a famous galactic event worldwide in 1987, which is also the year that I was born. So Dr. Jose I believe it's Arguelles, is how you say his last name. Is just an incredible individual who had an awakening, I think in his early teens, actually, on one of the Mayan pyramids and had a kind of a walk-in experience. And since then has been transcribing, translating, downloading incredible intel from the cosmic Maya. And so the concept of time is all about the frame of mind. Time is actually of the mind. And the Mayan culture, the cosmic or the galactic Maya, they are a starseed lineage, a fifth dimensional starseed lineage with their roots in the Syrian and Pleiadian lines of history. And they were incredible star walkers, skywalkers, and their whole notion of time is very important for us to begin to dig into and to play with. The idea of time right now as a construct in 2021 is such a powerful subject to explore. And so I'm just so stoked to share this topic with you guys. I have been wanting to share this for years. And it's one of those topics that it's so vast, and I just wanted to kind of give you guys the nuts and bolts, and you can do your own research, do your own digging. I'll provide resources, as always, in the description box below for you. And start to see what you feel. What do you feel from this inside? But this is all about mastering the art of time and timelines and timeline jumping all through our state of consciousness, through the power of our mind. So without further ado, let me share my screen with you all and we can get into it. So I'm going to be doing a lot of reading. So I'm sorry about that. But at the same time, why reinvent the wheel? The masters who share this incredible intel have phrased all of this so perfectly that I figure I would rather just share directly to you from their words rather than take the time to reinvent the whole thing. And they say it so beautifully, and this way I can just share it with you a heck of a lot faster. So I want to share a little bit about just some brief background. The time system that we're working with right now in modern day it's a 1260 system, and we're going to be looking into what does that mean. What we're working with right now is the Gregorian calendar, and this is how we measure time. So we're looking at the months of the year, how many hours are in a day, how many minutes are in an hour, how many seconds are in a minute, and beyond. And so the big piece that I want to share of this notion of time and artificial calendars and artificial matrices of time construct versus the organic and galactic ones, and how we can start to differentiate between the two, explore how you feel about it, what feels real to you, what feels expansive and like malleable, something that you can work with to start to consciously create your life experience versus a system that is artificial, that's like placed on us, which is actually kind of limiting and constricting. So first, I want to start with the 13 moon calendar. So that's the organic calendar that the majority of planet systems indigenous cultures were using before the shift to the Gregorian calendar. So the Gregorian calendar and the Julian calendar are completely artificial manipulations of time and how we are engaging on a daily basis. So some of these constructs could be like the modern day would be the 9 to 5. It would also be the fact that different planets rule different days of the week. And if you look at why does our work week in the West start on a Monday, which is ruled by the moon? It doesn't really make sense. 9 to 5. If a human being is working from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., look at how that's organically messing with our own, what is called the circadian rhythms, which also has to do with the Schumann resonance, showing how our body systems, our nervous systems are completely connected to the entire, all of creation all around us. But our circuitry operates on a certain optimum. And if you look at the hours of time that we are, as a collective, the majority of people are working, and so they're not resting at this time, they're up at this time. It's a total system to remove us from our organic alignment if we're not able to use our energy the way that our bodies, our very circuitry was organically, beautifully, divinely created to flow with the rhythms of the universe in organic time. You can see how that could be a method of control. So anyway, let's get into it because I want to be as concise as possible with this for you to start to explore. So the 13 moon calendar, because there are really 13 moons in a year, is an evolutionary tool to assist humanity in the unprecedented act of uniting itself on one central issue to its complete well-being, time. And that's by Dr. Jose Arguelles. So let's see. I want to just okay, so let's talk a little bit about the Gregorian calendar. And this is the book that it's coming from, Dr. Arguelles' 1996 book, The Call of Pakal Votan. Pakal Votan is a very important figure in the mythology and the cosmology of the ancient Maya. So if you're interested in that, I highly recommend you look into that. His whole body of work goes greatly into who Pakal Votan was. This also has to do with the return of Quetzalcoatl and 2012, all of these incredible different cycles that we hear a lot about in popular culture, but this is really the meat of where it comes from. So this is his 1996 book, The Call of Pakal Votan, and it elucidates the importance of understanding time and calendars. This is very important for liberating our minds and creating consciously our experience in our divine sovereignty. The Gregorian calendar is based on the original Babylonian model, which substituted a measurement of space for a measurement of time. Time is not a space. Time is of the mind. A circle on a flat plane divided into 12 30-degree parts was used as the model for the annual calendar. A circle on a flat plane has 360 degrees, or 30 times 12. So let me go through, let's see. So one annual orbit of our Earth around the sun is 365.5 days. The measure of time, according to the standard of the circle on a flat plane, is irregular, arbitrary, and irrational, as is the measure of time. So is the measure of our mind. That's very important for us to break down. So just, you want to close your eyes and listen to this, let your body digest this. The codes will come through for you as they're meant to for you, uniquely in time. As is the measure of time, so is the measure of our mind. In AD 1582, when Pope Gregory the 13th cut 10 days off of the Julian calendar and ordained the final version of the Babylonian calendar, the mechanical, keyword mechanical, machines, the mechanical clock achieved its final perfection. Using the same flat plane circle of 12, the clock doubled the 12 to 24 hours. So that would be, 12 hours in a day, 12 hours in a night, 24 hours total in the cycle of that rotation. And the degrees from 30 to 60 minutes per hour. So here's the second level of this. Taxes, war, and government were already secondary institutions of the human mind due to the 5,000-year use of the 12-month calendar throughout the old world. But combined with the mechanical clock, which doubled the measure, so this is where we're going to get into that 1260, that artificial matrix time control system. The 1260 artificial timing frequency was locked into place as the irregular and mechanically accelerating mental condition of the human race. setting it apart from the rest of nature. Now added to taxes, war, and government was the machine, and all of us being locked in the machine, the matrix of time, as a construct. Without the mechanical clock, there would be no machine, and all industrial technology would be impossible. By adjusting our biological rhythm to the accelerated 1260 artificial time machine frequency, we humans began the acceleration of our own biological activity. With the consequent time bomb of overpopulation, which plagues us today. The tick-tock of the clock is the artificial heart, or the old ticker of Mammon. Mammon is the diabolical ghost in the machine that is living us. So this is where we have to deconstruct at a cellular level, 3D from within, so that we can embody New Earth and bring New Earth forward. And I have to thank Lisa Transcendence Brown for being a pioneer in the thought form, the realization that 3D is held within our own body matrix systems, our own addictions, everything. And this is where I am right now. It's deep, a deep unveiling, a deep revelation. Mammon is the diabolical ghost in the machine that is living us, that is using our accelerated biological reproduction to create a total machine world. The triumph of Mammon is the triumph of materialism. The first phase of Mammon was the creation of the Babylonian 12-month government system of taxes and wages for labor. The second phase of Mammon was the clock-based machine. Today, there is no machine without money, no money without a machine, and no nation without money. Nationalism is perverted into the 1260 dogma of war and money. But in the biosphere, all boundaries are illusory. So this is an email I received on the notion of time from the Law of Time itself. So it's lawoftime.org. I highly recommend you guys checking that out. So I wanted to go a little bit more deeply with you guys. This also is from lawoftime.org. This is their website here. Looking at the difference between artificial, or the 1260, and the 1320 time. So this is mastering the art of time. If we start to understand that what we have been brought into, we can liberate ourselves from, absolutely, through conscious choice, through conscious declaration of our sovereignty. And why I've been so excited to share this video for a while, and I had to, I guess, wait. I had to wait till guidance said, yes, now it's relevant. Now is the time to share. Is, last year with the lockdown starting in 2020, it was the first mainstream global invitation to understand or start to play with the notion that time isn't like, it's not linear at all. And people being at home more and feeling the flow of time. And it's been a wonderful way for the masses to completely unplug from the boxes, right? From the 9-to-5 system. So that's where it started, and where I started to get really excited to share this. And then when this came through again, that I was like, oh my God, we're timeline jumping like crazy right now, was on the 111 this year. And I was so laid up that weekend before, with so much coming through, and just like, earth shattering, like mind being blown about this and that. And just the mind continues to bloom like a lotus open, the crown open, with revelations of, oh my gosh, that was another little, thought form that was a mental trap for me, or that was locking me into this or that. And it's like this continual disillusion of the walls, one at a time, sometimes a few at a time. So let's dive into 1260, which is the 3D matrix of control, artificial time, and 1320, which is galactic time, time that aligns us with all of creation, all of nature, Gaia, her rhythms, everything. This is what connects us to our expansive potential, which is just fantastic. Oh. So it is simple to understand the 1260 and the 1320 timing frequencies. In the 1260 frequency, people are ruled by the clock and money. The deadening daily grind takes precedence over spiritual purpose, right? In the 1260 frequency, what do they say? What is the whole mantra that's been ruling us for so long? Time is money. Now, upgrade this, up-level this from 3D to 5 to 7 and beyond, okay? In the 1320 frequency, time is art. What does that feel like to you? Just time is art. You see how that notion is soft, an invitation, an expansion. It's a total portal rabbit hole that you could just dive down in meditation of seeing yourself as a conscious creator and bringing that in and starting to allow yourself to get there. In the 1320 frequency, people are ruled by their heart, nature, and art, and guided by dreams and synchronicity. Spiritual cultivation is the number one goal. So you see how it's the complete polar opposite? Artificial versus organic, total contrast. In the 1320 frequency, synchronicity is the norm. Everything is always in perfect order. Everything is always on time. Everything is always new. Each day is a cosmic unfoldment. And this is why I was just so stoked to share this with you guys, because when I first started to find out about, Galactic Time, it just made so much sense to me. And I was so exhilarated to know that the system already existed by who other than the cosmic Maya, the master timekeepers that we hear so much about in little pieces. And so I really invite you to start to explore this immense body of work that is available in all of the books that Dr. Jose has written and his team. And he's transitioned, I think, for some time now, but his work is just, it's vast. He has been recording, he's just, sharing so much. And a lot of the books are available on Amazon in a digital form too. They also have an incredible galactic calendar, which I highly recommend. So then you're really in tune and seeing the energies, these galactic star glyph energies, that what's presenting on a daily basis. And the whole way that they structure their weeks is completely different. A week is like a 13-day thing. So there's actually only like 3 weeks in a month, and it's all based on the moon. And so you're totally in alignment with the organic rhythms, and thus in your power of, you know, just fruition of intention, blooming, and then maybe a rebirth period. It's just like amazing. So I'll read a little bit more. The essence of the discovery of the timing frequency is a simple one. The 1260, this is so important. The 1260 refers to an unconsciously accepted order of time that is artificial in nature. 12 refers to the codification of daily time into an irregular and arbitrary calendar of 12 months. Originated in Babylonia, the final historical form of the 12-month system was instituted in 1583 by the Vatican as the Gregorian calendar, which is now accepted as the standard in use worldwide. The result of the 1260 is the creation of a timing frequency whose mental field of consciousness is dominated by mechanization. Think automaton, think unconscious, think programmed, right? And a third dimensional science of space matter. Unconscious acceptance of this 1260 timing frequency is the single most contributing factor to the problem of human alienation from nature. So I think this is probably a good place to stop on this. I don't want to inundate you guys. This is a huge topic. I mean, it's space time. It's huge. And you are the master of it. You are the Skywalker. So I think we'll stop here with this section. This is about mastering the art of time and starting to look at yourself as an artist of time and what that does. I remember the first time I read that, and it was so beautiful and profound to me that each moment, is an invitation to be conscious and to really be in our mastery, to be unified in all aspects of ourself. And to be present in pure presence. There's so much magic. So the time we spend with ourselves, what we're thinking, what we're placing our attention on, the pure presence we share, that sacred time with our friends, our family, our community, just putting that pure focus, concentrated love, realizing that everything you do, be, think, say is art. I mean, how beautiful is that? So just starting to bring the dream alive in that regard to what is human potential is we're not meant to build someone else's dream. We can definitely come together in support of one another when we share dreams and visions. Definitely. That's the whole idea of New Earth, is that collaboration with community, right? But what are we creating? Whose dream is it? Is it our dream? Or is it a construct that's been enforced that we can definitely say no thank you to now, I promise. So lawoftime.org, highly recommend them. So now we're going to go into the art of jumping timelines. Now, this man's work is phenomenal. Tom Kenyon, this is his site here, tomkenyon.com. He works with the Hathors. I mean, he's got an incredible body of work. I've never seen anyone so perfectly in detail cover timelines and how to master them, And again, this is all with the mind. So everything that I share on the channel is different ways that have worked for me to come inside and differentiate true self from wounded or false self, smaller aspects, bringing all of the aspects together, all the different tools that we're using, encounters with the divine, however that comes through. And time is one of them. But if you notice, all of these concepts go back to the mind. So one of the biggest things for me is always asking that question, like, how are we supposed to help one another liberate ourselves when we can't see the bars of the prison that we're in the mind? It's powerful stuff. So little by little, we can help mirror and reflect to one another. So the art of jumping timelines, this has to do with your belief system. This has to do with, let's say, if we put this, in a more linear formula today, so we start to touch on time as art and an organic time system that's time space, that's infinite, and starting to understand, oh, I'm a conscious creator, so what do I want to do? What's my life's dream? What's my vision? That would then lead us to consciously creating our timelines. So the art of jumping timelines here. So I'm going to read to you guys again from his work, because it's perfect. It's so simple and well said. Um, so this is Tom Kenyon, The Art of Jumping Timelines. And it's really great because he's actually going to break down the processes here. So if you want to close your eyes and listen, you're welcome to. You might get lovely visuals. You want to read along. And I will definitely put all these resources in the description box for you as a reference going forward. So the art of jumping timelines. Although it may seem paradoxical to some, your timeline, your life, is only one of many simultaneous possibilities. And it is quite possible, indeed, it is your birthright. This is what I want you all to know. It's your birthright to choose, to alter your timeline and the potentials of your life. Your culture, for various reasons, has hypnotized you into believing that you are limited to one timeline. Not so. In this message, we shall endeavor to discuss our understanding of timelines and how you can change them. Whenever there is an increase of chaotic events, this is how I felt this was coming through on 1/11 this year. Increase of chaotic events, he says, there is a convergence of multiple timelines. And see if you can feel into that. When there's a lot going on in multiple collectives, you can feel this convergence as all the minds are coming together on different levels in the human heart grid, and our different levels of consciousness where we dream weave together. And you can feel all these different timelines, and some, more positive than others. And I'm sorry for the wind noise. We're having insane wind here in California. So hopefully we keep power. Okay, so sorry, let me go back to that. Whenever there is an increase of chaotic events, there is a convergence of multiple timelines. Due to the fact that your planet has entered a chaotic node and is experiencing ever increasing levels of chaos, there is also an increase in what we call time nodes, almost like coordinate points. Time nodes occur when two or more timelines converge. As a result of their close proximity, oscillation effects sometimes occur when the realities of one timeline bleed through or are psychically perceived by those on a neighboring timeline. Strong timelines can also literally affect the possibilities and or probabilities of other timelines within a time node. In other words, creative and novel effects often occur within timelines when they enter a time node or proximity to other timelines. These are evolutionary jumpstarts that hold tremendous possibility for accelerated evolution if you understand how to utilize them. As a result of the volatile nature of events on your planet, there are multiple time nodes emerging. This is a very complicated and complex affair, and we shall endeavor to break it down into its smallest segments, for we believe that this information has vital significance for those of you engaged in the ascension process and for its sheer survival value. Let us turn our attention to the larger picture first, and then to the individual strategies that we suggest. So this is totally, you're going to see this coming to a peak right now as we are invited to choose. Will we watch 3D burn and let it pull our focus and our attention? Or will we say, no, thank you, you're dissolving and it's all for the highest good of everyone, despite all of the details. Also choosing to detox it from our bodies. and therefore choose 5D, 7D, and up. This is the time that we get to choose. Will we watch things burn and therefore actually perpetuate the chaos, or will we pull our attention into creation now? Your planet is on the brink of utter transformation. The form of this transformation has multiple expressions, and it is you, the collective, that will affect these outcomes to a greater or lesser degree. Some of these outcomes, these possibilities, fulfill the prophecies of planetary destruction and purification. Other timelines, other expressions reveal a different outcome. A sudden, unexpected shift in human consciousness could bring the controllers, who have so negatively affected your destiny, to their knees. And there are hundreds of possible timelines between these two polarities. There are vested interests in your society who wish you to remain hypnotized, which wish for you to continue in the delusion that you are limited to one timeline, one experience of life as they so deem it. So again, sharing this intel is not to give power away to the controllers or to these old entities or any of that. All we have to do is just say, nah, literally, like that's it, and just unplug and focus over here, and the whole thing would crumble. It would collapse so quickly. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm aside from wanting to share information with you guys here on YouTube, I'm only on YouTube and on Facebook because I have lovely communities that I'm a part of where we support one another. So it's just Facebook and YouTube for me. No more WhatsApp, no more Twitter. Yeah, none of those because I'm just saying no thanks. And they're feeling that. They're feeling the effects of these mass migrations of people saying, no, thank you. Like, this is unacceptable. And it can be that gentle and strong. So let's see. You can read more about this if you like to go into detail, but I want to go into the principles here because I don't want this to be too long of a video. This is a lot of information. So Tom Kenyon just totally outlines this process so perfectly. So here we go. The fundamental principles, jumping timelines. So this involves the coordination of a few significant fields of intentionality. So number one, you identify the timeline you wish to move into. Now, what that means literally is the vision that you have, whatever that may be, whether it's a new job, whatever it may be, new financial situation, a new place to live in the right time. You'll know what your dream, what your vision is, what you desire to shift, what you're ready for. That's your timeline. So number one, you identify the timeline that you wish to move into, which for me is like, man, I would love to be this, or I love it when this happens. Or for me, it's that simple. When you're working on the process of desire, I highly recommend Abraham Hicks material because it'll really break down the vibrational elements of your emotions and your beliefs of how you feel and think about your timeline, because that's really important. So that goes into number two, which is you shift your vibrational state to match the timeline. So that is kind of that fake it till you make it concept. Instead of, lack consciousness, imagining like just full on in your imagination, going to total abundance, the opposite, and just feeling like, wow, what would that feel like? And really get into it like it's a movie, it's a dream. Imagining like, wow, I'm going to use abundance, financial abundance. If I had the financial abundance that I would really love to have, I mean, wow, I could help so many people with that. I could support small businesses, like just really going into the details of what would you do with that money. Okay, so shift your vibrational state to match the timeline. So you're imagining it and you're feeling it. And that's why that mental work of the belief system and resolving duality about the dream is really important, because you can't, like Abraham says, you can't get there from there. If you're in a state of disbelief or lack of consciousness, you'll be there until you're ready to shift out of that. And that's probably the hardest part of the process. But with time, it gets really easy. You just say, oh, I've been running this loop. Let me, I almost said excerpt, but let me eject that thought form program and jump over to the one that I'm working on creating. Because if you can get into that neutrality, instead of all the emotion of like, oh, but I want it, it's not here. If you can pull back and just say, oh, I would really love that, and just really hold that, and then boom. So number three, this is going into number three now. You lock into the vibrational state so it does not waver. What that means is, still going on with the financial piece, is the example here is, let's say for whatever reason, you look at the bank account and it hasn't shifted yet, you don't let that just, cause your heart to just sink into your stomach and just feel bad. You just are like, it's coming. It's all good. So this is where that faith piece really comes in, that you trust in yourself. You trust in what you're doing. You believe in yourself, that you're worthy of receiving that which you are creating. And there's a lot that goes into that, but if we go back to just the basics here of being a divine human, yes, we are a conscious creator, and what we think, do, dream, see, be affects everyone. So as long as we're in alignment with our highest self aspects and that harmonization, that unity within, everything that we are doing and being and seeing and sharing does serve humanity, because we're coming from our highest spot. Okay, so number 4, you take an action that is an expression of the new timeline. So this also goes back to that fake it till you make it. So again, I'm going to use the financial one because that's the one that I am most familiar with right now. It's, because everything is kind of waves of up and down, if you will. So let's say you have, $60 left in your checking account, and you really want to take a class, a yoga class online. You really love that teacher. You want to support him or her in their work. What they do brings you so much nourishment. And you love the idea of sharing your resources and supporting another person. So even though you're in the unknown space of not knowing when the financial abundance, the windfall, maybe a late invoice, whatever, is going to come in, rather than to, in that moment, you have a choice point. You can come from lack and say, oh God, I don't have enough, so I got to hang on to this, which the energetics of this, you have to start to look at the energetics, because, from the 3D perspective in the logical mind, it's like, yeah, you don't have anything, hold on to what you have. That's the linear, like kind of limited perspective. But from the holistic or holographic or quantum perspective, if you're exercising abundance, then you're affirming your abundance, which is saying yes to more abundance. Because, despite how things look logically or linearly, that a fragment of the reality, we live in a quantum universe, quantum reality, which is abundant in nature. So when we unify with that and affirm, I am abundant in nature, and yes, there are fluctuations. I don't care. It's fine. I'll be fine. And you're coming from that place of, I trust the process and I know that this will be good for me. And taking this yoga class, for instance, as an example, and it will bring me further into alignment, and it's sharing abundance with someone else, which I would love to be a philanthropist. You see how all of those energetics are much more expansive and saying, yes, thank you, I am abundant. They're affirming that. So that is taking an action that is an expression of the new timeline. If you want to be abundant, then you act abundant. You take actions that are abundant, right? And number 5, persevere. So you're going to loop through this whole amazing process here. So this is really important. In the 5th stage, so this is kind of repeating the whole thing, you must hold the vibrational state, and that we do that through our belief system, the thoughts we're thinking, and our emotions. You hold the vibrational state of the new timeline you have chosen, making choices that are coherent with the new timeline. And persevering with this is the key piece. Persevering with this despite sensory information to the contrary. Remember, it takes a little while when we're endeavoring in the very beginning in this process of conscious creation. It takes a little while for what we have envisioned in the higher realms to be crystallized, to be made manifest into our physical experience. So that's why we have to hold the energy. And the better we get at it, the stronger our faith, the stronger our self-worth and our joy and our trust on ourselves and in the universe at large, the faster the manifestations will occur. So watch that frustration, watch that, for me, I remember so many times like my heart just dropping and feeling so bummed because it wasn't there yet. And conceptually, I knew I could do it in an instant, but I hadn't figured out yet how to hold the energy, how to master that. So that's a big skill to work on. And you see how the external experience, the media, world events, they're all kind of coming with energetics of really depressing information, right? It's not expansive at all. It's constrictive. It's depressing. It's controlling. It's trying to, herd us like we're cattle. And I love cattle. Don't get me wrong, not to put them down. They're brilliant and so amazing. But like that's how it feels like we are seen. Like in a very derogatory nature, and we're just being guided into, you know, either one frame of thinking or another, and then they're both polarized against one another to create division. So you see how all of that, how I see the energetics of what goes on and have for forever, and now it's really coming to a head, is all of these different systems that are using our energy like batteries, they're playing our chakras, our emotions, like a fucking xylophone. So it's so important, you know, to start to just pull back and just review the energetics and say, no, I just don't consent to that anymore. I'm going to use my energy to do this. So I hope that this has provided you with a really awesome and insightful overview. These topics are vast, but I think this is the time to play. I think this is the time to dig in here. So I really hope that you all have enjoyed the content. Let's see, the next video I'm going to share, I'm really grateful to, I think it's, I want to say Divine Angel 777, posted a great comment on one of the last videos on how do we achieve divine neutrality? How do we hold that state? And I was like, I responded back in a comment, and then I realized this is such a big topic that this is a video. So I just want to thank you all so much for tuning in and for subscribing and for sharing. You know, this is information shared from the heart, from me to you, all the stuff that has helped me along the way find the reason, you know, find the sanity, find the inspiration to not only stay here on this planet, but discover my destiny and we help light one another up. So your questions are really, really important because, you know, looking at things from a quantum perspective, every question is like a whole portal to a whole other topic that we could go into together. And I always want to help or support you, assist you with information that's relevant, especially in the now moment, that will support your journey. So thank you so much for tuning in. Please feel free to share with anyone you think may resonate. I mean, if anything, it's just really fun stuff to think about and kind of, you know, expand our minds, just open up and enjoy a discussion. Sorry, the wind is really getting to me. It's hard with the wind to hold. Again, there you go, holding the focus, right? So thank you all so much for tuning in. And the next video, we're going to go into divine neutrality. So I look forward to seeing you there, and have a beautiful day wherever you are on this amazing planet. Have fun. Remember, time is art. You're an artist. That can come out in so many ways. And, you know, if you already are an artist in action, you have a platform, you're a musician, you're an artist with media, whatever, like, feel free to share, you know, your content, like your links and stuff in the comments, and we can kind of build connectivity that way and exposure for everyone, because that's really fun stuff. So, so I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care.